Welcome back to Training Camp Live here in Oxnard, California. Saturday of Dallas Cowboys training camp. It's opening day. Fans are out in full force, and so are the Dallas Cowboys. Let's get to the team period. I'm Tommy Yarrish. That's Nicole Hutchison. Let's go back to it. First team offense back out there. First thing I noticed today, Nicole, Rob Jones, the free agent signing from the Miami Dolphins this offseason, starting at right guard in place of the first round pick for the Cowboys in the last NFL draft, Tyler Booker. Booker's running with the second team. We'll see that here in a little bit.
I think it's important to note that they are trying new things out, right? I mean, he is supposedly supposed to be your starting right guard, but it's still early, right? Day 4 of practice of training camp, so it'll be interesting to see how that whole right guard battle pans out.
First play of this drive is Javonte Williams on the carry. And still training camp reps, full pads, I should say, finally come on tomorrow. And with how physical these first couple of days of camp have been, you can tell that these players are excited for that to happen and more than happy to start hitting one another. Second play, Prescott in their shotgun, quick pass to the outside. It's caught by Jalen Brooks, who is tackled and certainly not what Brian Schottenheimer wanted to see there. And Andrew Booth in on the coverage.
You know, Andrew Booth has actually taken a little bit more of first-team reps defense over the last, couple of days, and I'm interested to see how that outside corner position pans out because he's a guy who allowed a lot of big plays last year in 2024.
Now Dak Prescott back under center. Brevin Spanford in motion, as is Jalen Tolbert. Now Prescott changing things up at the line of scrimmage. On play action, Prescott stepping up in the pocket, and he's going to tuck it and run. He talked a little bit about this the other day, how he can't necessarily take off like he once did in his Mississippi State in early years, but still able to use his legs despite the hamstring injury, and he plans to do so when necessary next season.
Yeah, that's something even Brian Schottenheimer mentioned. He doesn't want to force it, right? Because that's obviously how he feels like he got injured last year. But we've seen, today and also in Thursday's practice, a little bit more of mobile Dak. We love to see mobile Dak. That opens up this offense to do a lot of good things, Tommy.
Prescott back under center. Spanford in motion again as Miles Sanders gets the carry that time, and he's wrapped up quickly. Ernest Brown makes the play there, and Aaron Whitecotton pretty fired up after that play.
This defense, man, specifically this defensive line is going to be so special. We've seen some of these big runs, but again, they're not in pads. So I think a lot of these big runs that we think that they are big runs, they're really not. They're really run stuffs. This defensive line has done a good job of closing up those holes for these running backs.
Now we'll see the second group coming out. Quarterback by Joe Milton, who has had an up and down time here these last couple of days. Some solid throws, some interceptions. See what he can do here. He gives to Jaden Blue, a couple nifty moves there at the line of scrimmage, and you kind of see the second gear that he can get to once he gets into the open space. And the Cowboys are hoping he can do that for them in spurts this season.
Yeah, that running back room is a lot of fun to watch. We think that, Javonte Williams, he doesn't have much in the tank. He's got speed too. Miles Sanders has speed. Jaden Blue, as you just saw, has speed. So I think even Deuce Vaughn, right? Obviously, he's had a couple of good camps the last, 2 seasons. That running back room is going to be a lot of fun to watch as the days continue to pan out here in Oxnard.
Milton goes under center. Quick toss to the outside, and that's Phil Maffa, the other rookie from Clemson, who gets knocked down. And again, Ron Schottenheimer not wanting to see very much of that during these periods. There's plenty of time for that in the padded practices, but looks like Maffa just kind of tripped over a pile of feet there.
And did you see that end of that rep? Justin Barron obviously trying to punch the ball out. That's a big emphasis. No matter when the play ends, even if it's dead, they're trying to punch the ball out, guys.
Milton has plenty of time. Now he'll roll out and tuck it. Looks like he was looking for a downfield shot to either Josh Kelly or Trayshawn Holden, but they were covered well on the back end by Wanye Thomas and C.J. Goodwin. So back to the drawing board goes Milton in the offense for the next play in this series. Some substitutions on the defensive side of the ball here, so Seeing some more of the second and third stringers coming to the line of scrimmage. Vontae Turpin lined up as a running back here on this play is interesting. In motion that time was Awesome Richards. Brian Schottenheimer brought that up the other day, having him play some tight end to get an extra blocker out there. You see him get to the second level on Shamar James as Cavante Turpin makes a couple of cuts and spin moves that the fans here in Oxnard appreciate.
I mean, how could you not appreciate that? Like, his speed is completely off the charts. I mean, but going back to the motion, that's something that even Shoddy mentioned. He doesn't like to be stagnant, doesn't like to be static at all. And you'll see a lot more pre-stat motion just to kind of expand this offense as well.
And on to the next team period. First team offense back out there, along with the first team defense, as Prescott goes under center, and the give to Miles Sanders, who gets hit pretty early. So again, mentioned this earlier, Nicole, but haven't seen a lot of Tyler Booker today. This might be a rest day. We don't have any official word on that. Terrence Steele also out again today as a precaution for his left ankle.
Yeah, I mean, and we can't, again, like what we mentioned before, this is still early, right? Tyler Booker, first round pick for the Cowboys. You certainly expect him to be a starter, but ooh.
There's CeeDee Lamb over the middle as Prescott finds him in a window. Comes back to the ball and makes the grab for what would have been a first down.
Yeah, I mean, you're seeing early what this offense looks like with CeeDee Lamb, and he's gotten somebody else who can kind of distract the defense, take some pressure off of him a little bit with George Pickens in on that rep as well. So, hell of a catch from CeeDee Lamb.
Prescott in the shotgun now with Miles Sanders to his left. Jonathan Mingo lined up on the outside of the right, covered by Andrew Booth. He's had a solid first couple of practices here in Oxnard. A welcome sign for the former Carolina Panther, who the Cowboys traded a fourth-round pick for last year. Prescott getting on the same page with his receivers. Takes the snap, and a quick crosser to Mingo. It's a strong catch. A flag comes in for what likely would have been defensive pass interference on Andrew Booth, but Mingo showing off the strong hands on that play.
And you got to give it up for Dak for making that throw, getting that throw off, because Osa Odigizua was right in his face for him to be able to get that off. So, I mean, this is QB1. This is what it is. This is what it means. So, yeah, I mean, this defensive line, though, is actually going to cause problems for a lot of these offenses in the NFL.
Looked like Prescott knew that's where he was going right away. Able to deliver it, and Mingo comes down with it through the contact. Prescott back in the shotgun, this time Javonte Williams to his right. High snap, able to control. Williams picks up Sanborn on the blitz. Prescott going deep for Lamb, and he's got him. Kalen Carson in coverage, and CeeDee Lamb comes back and makes the grab. Good placement there from Prescott, and 88 makes the catch. That'll do it for the first group on that series as Joe Milton and the offense now take the field. Now there's Tyler Booker running again with the second team. See him lined up there. Right in front of Solomon Thomas. Milton under center, lofts one down the field, and it is intercepted. Wanye Thomas picks him off, but a little bit too much air under that one and threw it to the right of his intended target, Ryan Flanoy. And so an easy pick for Wanye Thomas.
You got to give it up for Kalen Carson, though, on that play. Trying to stick with Ryan Flanoy, but Wanye Thomas trying to earn some starter reps. He, had to battle with Donovan Wilson, guys like Malik Hooker, but they're starting to play him in the nickel cornerback position just to kind of give maybe, Deron Bland, if they do move him inside, an opportunity to kind of catch a break. So, yeah, no, Wanye Thomas is certainly building some good days here in Oxnard.
Milton gives it off to Deuce Vaughn, who makes a nice move in the open field. Deuce Vaughn has had some solid reps here in Oxnard as well, as the Cowboys try to figure out what they're going to do in the running back room.
Well, what they're going to do in the running back room just depends on if you're able to do a lot of things that make you versatile, right? Can you help out in the pass game as well? Can you pick up blitzes? Can you pass protect? Haven't seen much of Deuce Vaughn in terms of that aspect, but Miles Sanders, Javonte Williams, Jaden Blue have certainly showed that early.
Milton moving back into the shotgun here. He will motion Jaden Blue out briefly. Milton looking for the quick throw, wasn't there. Now fires. That looked like it was deflected at the line of scrimmage. Kalen Carson in on the coverage as Milton was looking for Paris Campbell, but can't connect.
And James Houston getting in on that play as well, kind of getting a hand up and caused that missed throw. James Houston, they just acquired over the last couple of days, spent some time at Jackson State with the Lions on practice squad, had 8 sacks in his first season with the Lions. So definitely expect him to contribute this year as a depth piece.
Milton back in the shotgun. This time Phil Maffa lined up to his left. Looking to throw, pocket collapsing. That would have been a sack, it looks like, as Milton will tuck it and take off again. We've seen him do this a couple of times, and we've talked at length about how the next step in Joe Milton's progression is going through his reads and being decisive and throwing the football, not holding on to the ball too long. That time looked like Perrion Winfrey, who tried out for the Cowboys a few weeks ago and was able to be signed, makes the would-be sack.
I don't know about that one though, Tommy. He kind of escaped the pocket a little bit. His mobility, I feel like, has also shown Dak that he can kind of give Dak a little bit more confidence in his mobility as well. That's why I feel like I've seen a lot more of Dak runs over the last couple of days.
Speaking of Dak Prescott, he's back out there with the first team offense as Javonte Williams gets bottled up by Osa Odigizua there pretty early. They're looking to get back to the line of scrimmage quickly here and run some tempo. Prescott back under center. Fakes the give to Williams, now rolls out, and he'll dump it off to Jake Ferguson, who puts his foot on the ground and turns back into the middle of the field. Cowboys obviously hoping that those two can connect at the same level they did back in 2023 during Ferguson's Pro Bowl season.
Impressed on that rep from Jake Ferguson, but honestly, this is kind of a Jake Ferguson thing. I mean, lined up on the line of scrimmage to help with some extra protection, goes one-on-one with Donovan Ezeraku, the rookie, and shows him a little bit, hey, you're a rookie in this league, you better remember that, and comes out, released out on a route, catches the pass. That's the Jake Ferguson and Dak Prescott, baby.
Prescott changing things up as he prepares for the shotgun snap. Miles Sanders joining him in the backfield. Good pocket for Prescott, who delivers to Luke Schoonmaker. So back-to-back completions to the tight ends from Prescott. Defense continuing to try to punch that ball out, and they've had a turnover every single day of practice. So Matt Eberflus's goal and Brian Schottenheimer's goal, too, of being one of the best turnover-forcing defenses in football. So far, so good through the first 4 practices in training camp.
Yeah, but I certainly want to highlight Luke Schoonmaker and the way that he's moving. I asked Brian Schottenheimer about him in the last press conference. He said that he put in that extra work this offseason to get his speed up, his speed work, and so I want to make sure that we do highlight the improvement that Luke Schoonmaker has made and expect him to be a lot more involved in this offense this year.
Prescott in the shotgun. Once again, has time. Fires, and it's complete. CeeDee Lamb again, weaving through traffic and turning upfield. And Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are certainly happy to be on the field once again together in Oxnard. They haven't been since 2023, as Lamb held out last year while he was working his new contract. And you can tell that they're taking advantage of these reps that they've got together after admitting that it took some time to get started and get on the same page in 2024.
Yeah, he said that he was kind of delusional about it, didn't think that it really mattered, but now, he's been here for camp back to what, 2023 he was here. And you're starting to see the benefit that it's having. That chemistry has been working early for those two guys.
Will Greer and the third team offense now onto the field as that first play trying to set up the screen. Greer didn't find it open, and he spikes it in front of the intended target. I haven't seen a lot of reps from Greer, which tells you that maybe the Cowboys are still. It was expected to be, a Dak Prescott backed up by Joe Milton situation, but nonetheless, pretty telling by how many reps he's got and where the quarterback situation sits now as Phil Maffa bumps around at the line of scrimmage and turns upfield.
It's a better position for the Cowboys to be in rather than not having, just two quarterbacks that can obviously get the system. I feel like, all three of these quarterbacks command the offense very well, but I mean, going back to what you mentioned, I feel like they do kind of feel a lot more confident with a guy like Joe Milton, who's a little bit more versatile so far early through camp.
And speaking of Milton, he's back out on the field with the offense in the shotgun. Goes over the middle quickly and connects. That is a rifle from Joe Milton to Kelvin Harmon.
Kelvin had a couple of nice days in camp last year, but I mean, this wide receiver room is so crowded, Tommy. I mean, it's going to be very hard for him to get some more opportunities. Obviously, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens, of course, your two targets. Jalen Tolbert having some really good days. I mean, this wide receiver room is going to be very hard to decipher. One, you got to decide how many you're going to keep. Is it 5 or 6? And then go from there.
Milton back in the shotgun. He's looking our way. Fires to Trayshawn Holden, and that is incomplete. Couldn't reel it in. Bruce Harmon, the undrafted free agent out of Stephen F. Austin University, with the pass breakup there. And that's going to do it for today's episode of Training Camp Live. Thanks so much for being with us. We've got the blue-white practice tomorrow. Make sure you tune in with us for that, and we'll bring you some more Training Camp Live later on next week. For Nicole Hutchison, I'm Tommy Yarrish. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.